Monster Hunter Wilds. This, in my opinion, is one of Capcom's best projects visually and mechanically for the Monster Hunter franchise. With over 8 million copies sold at launch and currently 10 million copies sold worldwide right now, it's easy to say this is Capcom's best-selling Monster Hunter game. Though, with that many copies sold worldwide, does the game hold up its reputation of being the best Monster Hunter game? Or is the game losing players much faster than expected, making it known as the worst base Monster Hunter game before G-Rank? Now, if you're a fan of the franchise, from the era of Monster Hunter World, Capcom has dropped free DLC content adding new monsters, items, and collabs. Those DLCs are known as title updates. Till this day, Capcom are still adding free title updates, making it easier for players to always come back. Amazing, right? The latest one so far is the Capcom collab with Street Fighter. They had the same collab for a few generations of games, though it makes sense since Street Fighter is one of the biggest faces for Capcom. This is good since it allows players to participate in fun events Capcom provides. But are those events good for longevity? Right now, it has been stated by a gamer article, Monster Hunter Wilds has lost players far faster than Monster Hunter World. It's only right to compare those two games since they are the next generation games for Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter Rise is more like an arcade port for players to have fun with. It states that about 90% of the player count from the launch week has dropped, and about 80% has decreased over the last 30 days. Those players are of course the players that wanted to try out the game or only played the story portion of the game and then stopped playing. Though it is stated that there are about 36% of players hitting HR 100 and 50% of players hitting 100 large monsters, but a far higher percentage of players have dropped the game. Now, the situation with Monster Hunter Wilds is stated that the game is too easy. Monster Hunter has taken a different approach with this game, making the base story the tutorial of the game. Then, in high rank, the game picks up its difficulty, a great strategy for new players to get into the game. Though in high rank, a lot of complaints are stating that the game difficulty curve is not a major or even noticeable challenge like the previous Monster Hunter games. Only a few set of monsters have shown to give players a bit of trouble, making the game less fun for the consumer. It's also been stated that Monster Hunter will get more challenging when it gets proper DLC next year, called G-Rank. Though comparing the game to Monster Hunter World, it didn't need G-Rank to show the difficulty spike from the base story to the so-called endgame, meaning reaching HR 49. If you don't know what happens at HR 49, it's basically Capcom testing you to see how good of a hunter you truly are. And if you couldn't beat the monster, you are not allowed to increase your HR any further. Now, both games have a level beyond tempered monsters, arch-tempered or arch-tempered. With the Monster Hunter Wilds just ending its arch-tempered Raid DAO event, a lot of players were disappointed with the difficulty of the monster, especially since you was able to capture it. Though Capcom did find a solution and made it a timed event, making the hunters defeat the monster as quickly as possible without capturing the monster. That added a nice challenge for the hunt, especially since you are given a pendant if you have one of the quickest times. Let's compare that to world's first arc-tempered monster, Karen. This monster was a powerful monster that made you rely on certain items so you wouldn't cart quickly. It had numerous one-shot capabilities. Its head was the only part of its body you could attack since the rest of its body was tough, and the erratic attack patterns it had making it more challenging for the hunters. Plus, it was immune to flashes, like every electric monster should be. Now, this is an elder dragon I'm comparing it to. Though arch-tempered monsters are supposed to be the peak difficulty of the base game of Monster Hunter, Raid DAO didn't show that difficulty, making players from Wilds upset. It is Capcom's first arc-tempered monster for this game, so I believe they're collecting data from players to see how challenging the monster was. Right now speaking, Monster Hunter Wilds has about 39,819 active players on Steam. I would say times that by 3 and that's about 119,475 active players, though most of the player base is on console, so I would say that number can be much higher. Players are going to come and go if they're done with the current objectives of the game. Of course, the player base is going to go back up when the new title updates appear. Me personally, I don't think the game is dead or dying, but you might have a different opinion. Comment down below what you think. Hit the like, subscribe, and have a nice day. Peace.